and financial support in order to honor the human-animal connection. 2021 marks 5 years since KarmaSue began serving Coloradan families. Today, we are aiming to raise $3,000 to fund our programs. This year's Boogie On theme is Check and Chill, where we will have sessions on how to check your pet for lumps, bumps, and abnormalities, and chill so that you can relax, have fun, and enjoy virtual time with like-minded humans. There are many ways for you to support our mission while chilling out at home. Sorry, I had to let someone in really quick. Donate Now links will be available in the chat box throughout our program. We will also provide opportunities for you to bid on 4 neat live auction items. Excuse me. Do we all know that it's allergy season? Okay. We will also provide opportunities for you to bid on 4 neat live auction items we saved especially for you. If you have yet to view our silent auction, you can do so via the link in the chat box. We have great items for every budget and interest, so feel free to pop over there and bid anytime on your favorite things. In the coming days, we will connect with the winning bidders and collect payments and addresses. Payments must be received prior to us sending or delivering the items. Finally, we will highlight testimonials from KarmaSue families so that you can learn about our mission directly from those in which we serve. As you always hear me say, KarmaSue is as much your organization as it is ours. It will take all of us to continue providing vital programs to families in need. Thank you for supporting our mission and our neighbors. Please keep yourself on mute during the program. We can mute you if need be. This will help everyone have a great experience and minimize background noise. And don't worry if you have questions, comments, or would like to converse with us or your fellow Check and Chill attendees. Please use the chat box or raise your hand. This function can be found by clicking on the reactions button in the bottom black ribbon of your screen. We'll send you follow-up email after this program with helpful Check and Chill handouts and coupons especially for you. Be sure to check your spam folder as sometimes we end up there. Thank you again for celebrating our 5th birthday with us. Now let's boogie on. Our first speaker of the day is Dr. Katie Braddock of Plum Creek Veterinary Services. She will show us how to check our dogs and cats for lumps and bumps and abnormalities.
Hi there, my name is Dr. Katie Braddock. I am one of the partners and veterinarian at Plum Creek Veterinary Services, and I also serve as KarmaSue's board president. This is my trusty dog, Haskell. He is about an 11-year-old Doberman Pinscher, and he's going to be my subject for today. So my presentation will be on just some general things you can do at home to be able to check over your pet and note any problems when they very first arise. So I'm going to go kind of from a nose to tail fashion, which is similar to the way that I do my physical examinations when I am at the clinic. But these are some easy things that you would be able to do at home to check on your pet. So the first thing that I like to look at is their gum color. So you can lift up their lips here, and the best place to see gum color is kind of right around where their canine tooth is here. Should be a nice salmon pink. You can also check their capillary refill time by just gently pressing on it, and it should turn to kind of a white color and then turn back to pink from that. The other thing you can look at while you're in their mouth is their teeth. You can see Haskell has a little bit of tartar here. Might be kind of hard to see on there, but you can assess whether their gums are real red or inflamed, and also what their teeth look like. And he does have some tartar, probably could use a dental cleaning. The next thing I like to look at are their eyes. And you can look in his eyes here. I will kind of gently pull his eyelids up a little bit here and look at the whites of their eyes. They should be white, not yellow or orange or anything like that. That can indicate a problem with the liver. You can also look just generally into their eyes and look to see whether their pupils or the black part of their eyes are symmetrical. If they're not, that can be an indication of a problem with the brain or a problem with the neurologic system. Moving on, our next thing that I look at is look in their ears. You can look for any sort of kind of redness or any sort of brown kind of waxy stuff in there. If they've been scratching and such, that can make an indication that they might have an ear infection and should be seen by their veterinarian. So dogs have a few different sets of lymph nodes that are pretty easily palpable for just kind of the basic palpation. The first ones are underneath their chin here. Those are called the submandibular lymph nodes. You can feel them just kind of gently under the chin. They also have the prescapular lymph nodes, which are in the very front of their shoulder blades here. They can be a little bit more difficult to feel, but generally if they're really large, you can feel them, feel like two big kind of lumps there. They also have lymph nodes behind their knees. Let's see if I can turn him here. Come here, Husk. So kind of right where their knees sit here. Let's see if I can pick your leg up. And right behind there, you can feel kind of some small little bumps that would be the lymph nodes. So the next thing I like to do is just kind of do an overall check of their whole body for any sort of lumps and bumps. So I start kind of at the top here, just by petting their heads. You can kind of feel down through their neck, kind of gently palpating there. Making sure there's no lumps or bumps. He does have a little one right here that I've known about and keep an eye on. Kind of keep going down through here. I would go, lift up your leg, good boy. Go down their legs. The biggest thing I like to worry about is with their legs. If lumps and bumps become really large, they can be very hard to remove. So catching lumps and bumps on their extremities, on their legs or their toes early is pretty important as far as being able to remove them and being able to close the site. So then I kind of continue back here. Going along here. He's got another little bump under here that I know about. And moving all the way back. And then same thing with the hind legs and the hind feet. All right. The other thing I like to look at, I'm gonna see if I can lift his paw up here so you can see, is to look in between their toes. This is a place where lumps and bumps can sit. They can also get little abscesses, little stickers that get stuck in between there. And I'll also assess their nails. His nails are a little bit long. They do need to be trimmed, but you can see if there's any sort of redness around the nail bed, nail base there, could indicate that there's a problem with the nail and would probably need to be seen by a veterinarian. So I go through and do that with all four paws. I know. So we'll kind of do the same thing here. Got a little, there we go. The next thing that you can feel on them, in some dogs that are thinner and deep chested like he is, I can actually feel his heart rate through his chest here, just by putting my hand on the side of his chest. And I like to assess their heart rate, preferably when they're at rest. They haven't been out running around for a long period of time. Their heart rate or beats per minute should be between 80 and 120. The smaller the dog, the higher the heart rate will be. So for him, an average heart rate should be around 80 or 90. The other thing that you can assess, preferably when they're sleeping, is what's called their sleeping respiratory rate, or how many breaths per minute they're taking. So you just kind of count how many times their chest goes up and down. And we want that to be under 40 for dogs. If they're higher than that when they're sleeping or at rest, then that can be indicative that there's a problem and they should be seen by a veterinarian. You can come back here. No, there we go, good boy. You can do a little bit of kind of limited palpation in their belly. Some dogs will let you do it, some won't. But you can just kind of gently feel, make sure there's no big lumps or anything that you would feel in the belly. And also make sure there's not a lot of distension or anything like that here. Then I go all the way back. Check, I usually just kind of lift up their tail, make sure we don't see any lumps or bumps under here. That looks good. And that is my kind of nose to tail exam on a dog for any sort of abnormalities. You can do a very similar thing on a kitty cat, kind of check in the same thing. They do have the same areas of prescapular lymph nodes, the submandibular lymph nodes and the popliteal lymph nodes. Their resting heart rates are a little bit higher, usually between about 160 and 200. And their respiratory rate can be a little bit higher. It should still be under 40 when they're completely at rest or asleep. In closing, I would recommend that you check your pet over from nose to tail once a week or so, noting any major changes. If you have any concerns at any time, feel free to reach out to your veterinarian. Just because your pet has a mass does not mean that it's necessarily cancerous, but it also doesn't mean that it's not. So any size of a lump that you feel should be checked out by your veterinarian. And we're always here as a resource for you. Please feel free to reach out to me personally or to my clinic, Plum Creek Veterinary Services. And thank you again for watching my presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Braddock, for that interesting session. We are ready for questions if you have any. We have a few minutes open for them, so please feel free to use the chat box and we'll relay your question to her, or raise your hand and you can ask for yourself. Don't be shy, we're all friendly.
So I have one. When it comes to lumps and bumps in general, I know you said that just because you see a lump or a bump does not mean it's necessarily cancerous. Is there any determination on how you can tell first off if it is something that needs to be looked at or something that's kind of one of those where it may go away? I know my dog has a lot of cysts. So every time she gets one, I panic a lot. So is there kind of a way of knowing if it's just something that's kind of a consistent thing they may have, or something that's necessarily like in firmness or growing in size that could be an indicator?
That's a great question. Not really, unfortunately, is the answer, because a lot of different masses can look benign and actually be cancerous, or look cancerous and actually be benign. So the best way to determine is to have your vet do what's called a fine needle aspirate, where they put a small needle in and take some of the cells out and take a look at them under the microscope to see if there's any cancerous cells, or if it's just, like you were saying, a cyst or a lipoma, like a benign fatty growth.
Thank you.
Sure.
Great question, Taylor. Richard, do you have a question?
Yeah, since it's summertime and dogs are out running around outside, what's the best way or safest way to take ticks off of dogs?
So the easiest way that I found is to actually take either, ideally you would use like hemostats or forceps, but nobody necessarily has those at home. So a pair of tweezers works pretty well. You want to grab at the very, very base as close to the skin as you can possibly get it. And just gently take the head and pull gently to pull it out. You should be able to see the head when it comes out of the skin, because we don't want to leave the head in there. Otherwise, it can cause some irritation and kind of a localized infection there.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Thanks for the question. Michelle, we'll take you and then we'll keep on cruising.
All right, and maybe I honestly didn't have a chance to look at the entire schedule, but a lot of the same techniques, would that apply to cats as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. I just, unfortunately, my cats are not super cooperative about doing anything. So I decided to use one of my dogs instead, but you could absolutely apply those same techniques and same exam to a cat.
Great, thanks.
Thanks everyone for the questions. I appreciate it. And thank you, Dr. Braddock, for the interesting information. Dr. Braddock offered some more helpful hints in a handout that we'll send out after the program, as well as some other information that we'll share with you. But we're going to keep moving with our program now. And it's time for our first chill session. And that's with Desiree. So take it away, Des.
Thanks, Britt. Hello, everyone. Let me share my screen here. I'm new to Zoom, really. Just kidding. All right, I'd like to start with a disclaimer. Essential oils are not for everyone. Please consult your veterinarian before using essential oils for any contraindications or issues. The first 15 registrants to Boogie On received a bottle of Doterra Lavender Touch Essential Oil. Go ahead and get that out. For humans, lavender is widely known for its calming and relaxing properties and ability to soothe occasional skin irritations. Doterra Lavender Touch combines lavender essential oil with fractionated coconut oil to provide these same benefits to individuals who have delicate or sensitive skin. Lavender Touch can be applied to the temples, back of neck, bottoms of feet, or pulse points to experience its calming, grounding effects. Current research on using oils with our pets is limited. This is why consulting with your veterinarian, regardless of what you read online, is key. Here are a few things we do know. Cats lack the enzyme glucuronidase, and I knew I was going to mess that up, and are not able to break down the phenolic compounds in essential oils. Therefore, cats should not be given essential oils orally, or any topical use should be carefully considered. The high phenol oils and citrus oils should be especially avoided. Those oils include clove, basil, oregano, thyme, cinnamon, and cassia. Each animal's weight and size play a role. How much your pet will be sensitive to an oil seems to be related to their size or weight. Larger animals such as dogs, horses, seem to respond well to topical application in the limited studies that have been done. Never use oils on puppies or kittens. If a plant is known to be toxic to a pet, chances are the oil is also. For example, eucalyptus is toxic to cats if ingested, and it stands to reason that the oil of the same plant is as well. By the same reasoning, many cats hate the smell of citrus because it can be toxic to them if they eat it. Not all cats react to citrus, but it's always best to be cautious and using citrus essential oils with cats as well. Start small, always dilute, and use in moderation. If you're going to use an oil topically after consulting your vet, keep it to a small area, dilute heavily with carrier oil, and do it rarely. Generally avoid internal use. Because of the lack of research, Doterra does not recommend using oils internally for companion animals. There is some research about using oils internally with horses, but Doterra does not generally recommend the approach at this time. When diffusing around your pets, ensure there is plenty of ventilation in the room you are diffusing in. Never enclose your pet in a diffuser tight space, and always give them room to leave. Don't run the diffuser for a long amount of time on full blast. When diffusing around an animal, diffuse for only a few moments at a time. Make sure the diffuser is secure. If the diffuser falls or the animal drinks water from the diffuser, it could be potentially harmful. Remember too that you can always diffuse oils in a room you can keep your pets out of temporarily. While it is necessary to be cautious, you should still be able to diffuse most oils around your household pets. After consulting your vet and then diffusing, Doterra recommends that you pay attention to what your pet's body language is doing and go from there. We will provide you with a few handouts regarding essential oils and your pet after the program. Thanks so much for tuning in. Now I'll hand things over to Taylor to announce our first auction item of the day.
Thanks, Des. So now that we're all relaxed, we're going to go ahead and bid on our first item. So today we have a touchstone crystal paws off necklace. And the value of this is $44. But all of you guys see that beautiful necklace. So just remember that your donations received go towards supporting Coloradan families enduring companion animal cancers. So now is your time to help companion animals with cancer. We're going to go ahead and enter your bids in the chat box below. We'll read them as they come in, and the winner will be the person with the highest bid. Let's go ahead and get this bid starting at $20. Let's look at that beautiful necklace, guys. Let's try and get that for you.
Very sparkly.
It is so sparkly. It is absolutely beautiful.
You already have a bid, $20.
Oh, we got $20 going already. Let's keep that going, guys. I think this would be such a beautiful gift to give to somebody. Ooh, we're at 30. For
30 or
somebody
more.
who just absolutely loves to show off that they are a pet lover, I think this thing is sparkly, it's beautiful, it's petite, it's so pretty. Let's keep that going. Oh, we got 35.
Might be a bidding war,
I
not
was gonna
sure.
say, I think we might be getting a bidding war here. Anyone else? Let's keep that going. Awesome. And once again, this is from Touchstone Crystal.
For 45.
Oh, 45.
We just saw Colleen go, what?
I figured this thing is just beautiful. This is beautiful.
It's one of my favorites, and I'm not bidding because, well, I'm poor and also trying to give you all an option.
I know, I thought the same. I was like, I got to give everyone else a chance once I saw it.
One day. 50.
Oh, we're at 50.
Whoa.
All right.
You're in it to win it.
In it to win it. Do we got one more person who's going to bid out Colleen on this?
We have just a few seconds left.
Look at that. Look at
Last moment, last call.
that. All right, guys.
Count it down. 3,
All right.
2, 1. Sold to Colleen. $50.
That was so fun. So congratulations, Colleen. Our crew is going to message you via the chat box for all of your information, and we will email you after the program to receive or to make sure that you received your gift. Now let's enjoy a small look into the connection between a KarmaSue family. This is going to be Danielle and Bubba. Then we're going to take a short break with music provided by the talented David Wool. But first, a word from our community partners and sponsors, VetCS. VetCS is a veterinarian founded and driven company delivering scientifically sound, transparently sourced Colorado hemp and CBD products for dogs, cats, and horses.
My bond with Bubba is indescribable. He is my 120-pound big baby. He's more of like a son to me. I had him since he was 9 weeks old, so I rescued him as a baby, and he's been my world ever since. He's just my best friend. Say hi. Oh, there you go. You're so cute. You're such a cutie. I took him to the lake with his sister Penny, and so when I took him home, he was feeling lethargic, and he had diarrhea, and he wasn't feeling well. So I took him to the vet and did some x-rays, and they noticed that there was a mass in his intestine, and that he needed to go in for emergency surgery. I got the call 2 weeks later that it was cancer and that it has metastasized and spread through his lymph nodes and through his blood. Oh, there he is. Say hi. Say hi. Oh my gosh, my experience working with you guys has been nothing short of amazing. I feel stronger because of your love, your care, your support. It truly means so much when somebody is going through this. So thank you. And I would absolutely recommend you guys. Absolutely.
Our team of veterinary professionals was founded to enhance the comfort of all animals by offering high-quality hemp solutions. With our rigorous product testing and quality controls, we are years above the rest. We've walked the fields and talked with our Colorado farmers and understand the true love, care, and compassion that goes into growing quality hemp. We take our jobs as advocates for the voiceless very seriously, ensuring nothing but the best for your beloved pet.
Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed the first part of our program and your break. Next up is Dr. Carissa Hami. She will teach us how to check our herps and inverts regularly. Dr. Hami, take it away.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to check in. You can see my screen. Yes, no, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. So welcome back from the break. This is our reptiles and invertebrates section of the Boogie On Check and Chill. So over the next 10 to 12 minutes, I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about our scaled and many-legged friends. So why me? Why am I here? My name is Carissa. Thanks for the introduction, Britton. I've spent the better part of the last 15 years studying and caring for reptiles and invertebrates and doing educational sessions about them. I spent about 3 years with Nature's Educators, educating about raptors, and most importantly, for the purposes of this presentation, snakes, lizards, and invertebrates. So I have actually I also have a bachelor's degree in zoology and physiology too, from the University of Wyoming. So what we're going to talk about today is a little bit of background on our reptile and invertebrate friends, how to diagnose potential issues with a focus on cancer, and what treatment options might look like for our companion reptiles. I'm going to touch briefly on invertebrates. I'll tell you why it's going to be brief. And then we're going to talk about how you can learn more, how you can do some research on your own on your particular companion species, on issues that they might be running into, and also a sneak peek at an upcoming KarmaSue's full-length educational workshop next month. Okay, so reptiles. According to an article that was published in the Colorado Springs Gazette, the Colorado Reptile Humane Society shared that there are companion reptiles found in 10% of US homes. And that's actually higher than I thought. And I was actually happy to see that number because I think certain stigmas associated with keeping reptiles as companions are falling away. I don't know if anyone else here has experienced this in the past, but sometimes when people find out you have a companion bearded dragon or ball python, sometimes they make unfounded and unkind assumptions of you as a person. So that's another thing I've battled over the years. But what we're here to talk about today specifically is cancer in reptiles. So the causes mirror those in our companion dogs and cats. Causes can be spontaneous. They can be from or linked to viral infections, carcinogenic agents, or genetic predispositions. And in the studies that I looked at for the purposes of putting this talk together today, there was an incidence of cancer in 12 to 26% of evaluated animals. And out of all the major reptile groups, snakes actually have the highest reported cancer rate. So if you're keeping a ball python, a corn snake, a bull snake, definitely understand that they may be more affected than our four-legged, geckos or bearded dragons. So how do we diagnose cancer in reptiles? First and foremost, I want to acknowledge that I'm not a vet, so I encourage you getting connected to a veterinarian in your area that you can have saved on your phone, so you know who you're going to call if there is an issue. But just like our dogs and our cats and our birds, early detection is so important. Watch for behavioral changes. It's important to understand the behavioral that's normal for your particular species that you have as your companion, and for that individual, understand what their normal rhythms are like. So for example, loss of appetite can be an indicator that something's going on, with the exception of ball pythons. We're going to talk about that more during our full length workshop. And also be very aware of physiological changes. If any bumps appear, now granted, a lot of our reptile friends can have naturally bumpy skin. So this is where, you know, having a baseline and being really familiar with your companion is important. Another example, oral abscesses, any, you know, bubbling at the mouth could indicate an infection in the mouth. And like our bird friends, waste from reptiles can be very telling about their health status, about their hydration level. So know what's normal for them, how often they defecate. For snakes, it can be anywhere from, you know, a couple times a week to once a week, depending on how often they're eating. So monitoring that is really important. And then, you know, getting a veterinary evaluation sooner than later, as soon as you realize something may be going on and your pet needs your help. So the diagnostic methods in the literature that I surveyed very much parallel humans and companion animals that may be undergoing cancer. The images I've included on this slide here are actually x-rays of my Argentine red tegu. Happily, those x-rays showed good health. So your vet may choose to do x-rays like these. They may choose to do, they will likely start with a physical exam in person, and they may choose to do blood work or biopsy. So this is where your veterinarian's opinion and suggestions are critical. So what might treatment look like once you get your diagnosis? Well, proper husbandry should be considered so important for prevention, but it's also going to be really, really, really important as your reptile is recovering from a problem or battling cancer. So reptiles, unlike us as humans or our dogs or our cats, they actually can't maintain their own body temperature. They rely on their environment, on the habitat that we provide for heat and temperature zones. So they have to have the right environment to maintain the right body temperature in order for them to have a proper immune response, for them, their metabolic activity, for them to be able to digest their food, and for them to have the appropriate energy to be able to move around their habitat and engage in their normal behavior, or even just get to their water bowl, get to their food dish. Humidity is so important. If you're here with us here in Colorado, you know we have a very dry climate, but a lot of our common companion reptiles may hail from tropical environments. So having the right humidity, or even having the right environment where your reptile can regulate its own humidity, depending on where it's at in its shedding cycle, for example, really important. Lighting requirements, also, this is different than heat, okay? Because a lot of our reptile friends have to have exposure to specific wavelengths, for example, that mimic natural sunlight for them to stay healthy. And then diet. Some of our companion reptiles have relatively simple, straightforward diets. Some do not. Many need specific supplements, for example, to be included in their diet to stay healthy. And then last but not least, a stress-free environment. So important, I mean, for all of us, but our companion reptiles especially, and especially if they're on the mend. So when you, so you're providing that right environment, that proper husbandry. Other things your veterinarian may recommend may include surgery and chemotherapy, and you'll want to have those discussions with them and your family about the financial cost considerations and what quality of life would look like for your companion reptile. So touching briefly on invertebrates. So when I started putting together this presentation, I actually reached out to the arachnologist at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, and I said, hey, tell me everything you know about cancer and invertebrates. She said, well, that's not a question that I'm used to getting. So more research is actually being done, more research is being funded on how venom from reptiles and invertebrates can be used to treat cancer in humans, more than actually looking at what we might consider cancer in invertebrates. So if you have one of these companions in your home, you know these animals by their very nature, are very different than mammals. They have very different nervous, structural, and vascular systems than even reptiles, and definitely than humans. The pictures I've provided here, these are actually what are known in the pet trade as Talus whip scorpions. So on the left are little wee babies. On the right was one of the females after I had her for about a year. So more to come on husbandry for invertebrates during our August session. All right, so this is relatively short talk, but if you want to start digging into the literature before we meet again in August, I wanted to give you a sneak peek on how you can access scientific articles. You know, there's general articles on Google, that's great, but if you really want to get into the peer-reviewed literature, I'm going to give you a tip. So if you go to Google Scholar and you search for, you know, bearded dragon care or, you know, specific ailments in reptiles or invertebrates, there's some really good stuff out there, but a lot of it, if you look on Google Scholar, is behind what's called a paywall. And these journals will ask you to pay $20 to $40 for an article or a subscription. Don't do it. If you go to Sci-Hub and you grab that digital object identifier from the journal that you want to access, and you go to Sci-Hub and you put it in there, there's a good chance you'll be able to access that full text through Sci-Hub. Or if that doesn't work, you can always email an article's author directly, and that'll make their day. They'll be so excited to hear that someone wants to read their research and their work, and I guarantee you if they're able to, they'll email you that full text. And as I've kept alluding to, we'll have a full-length session where we talk more in detail about husbandry and health considerations for some of our most popular companion reptiles and invertebrates coming up on August 7th. So a big thank you to KarmaSue for having me. This is my first presentation with you all. It's just been so much fun. Here's some of the references I used. And I would now like to open the floor up for questions.
That was great, Dr. Hami. Thank you so much. I always learn something new, even though I've seen the presentation through our run through. It was awesome. If anyone has any questions, feel free to use the chat box or raise your hand and we'll get to you. I see Desi already has her hand up. Would you like to ask a question?
Yeah, I just actually read an article this morning about jumping spiders being able to recognize people. It's at the University of Cincinnati. And I was just wondering, in your experience, do you feel like these invertebrates can bond with their owners, and do they recognize them?
So this is my jumping spider, Winifred. She's a little black dot, not great on camera, but she's here. And in my personal experience, I've had her almost a year now. She recognizes when I make changes in her environment that indicate she's about to get fed. I'll take her big rock out of there, and then she comes out and she's ready to eat.
I love it. That's so cool.
Yeah, jumping spiders are very different than the tarantulas that we see as common arthropods in the pet trade, because jumping spiders, unlike tarantulas, have excellent vision.
Okay. Yeah, I see the little video. Oh, Taylor, what's his name on YouTube? They have a little jumping spider video. I'll have to find it, but it's really cute. Yeah. So that's awesome. I'm so glad.
Yeah, jumping spiders I highly recommend because they're active during the day too. So I have her, right here at my desk, and so I get to watch her walk around and I get to observe her natural behavior. So highly recommend jumpers.
Yeah, Annie, Lucas is the spider. Thank you.
Lucas.
I love
so cute.
Lucas. Finally, something that portrays spiders in a positive light.
In a positive way, yeah.
He's made me like spiders. Thank you.
Speaking on that, you were just kind of speaking about how they're up or asleep during the day or night. Do you notice that's a big indicator a lot when animals are, kind of getting sick, is that they may not be working in the right environment, like you were saying, for them, but more nocturnal or non? Is that like a really big thing where if you are particularly up during the day, you may want to look at some kind of an animal that's up during the day?
I love that you brought that up, because sometimes people will get these companion reptiles or an invertebrate that's active at night, and they become a little dissatisfied with this animal because they're like, well, I'll never see him. This is quite boring. Hermit crabs are a great example. They tend to be nocturnal. So for folks that, I've seen them set up little webcams in the habitats to watch these guys and record video when they are active at night so that they can get the joy of that experience. And then to your point, yes, if your animal isn't following their norm, what would be a normal schedule, that's an indicator something's not right. They're trying to correct something in their own environment. Yes, great thing to notice.
Great information. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. I nerd out. Okay, but feel free to nerd out with me on August 7th. We'll have Dr. Hami with us for a full-length education workshop. Feel free to sign up for the announcement on our e-newsletter. We'll make sure you get that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so now we're going to turn it over to Devin Jaffe of Nature's Educators to learn how to check our companion birds to achieve optimal health.
Hey guys, my name is Devin, and I am going to be giving you a brief introduction to some basic avian health checks. So a little bit about me. I've been caring for birds for about 24 years, almost 25 years now, everything from poultry to game birds, finches, parrots, raptors. I have a whole bunch of birdie type affiliations and just love birds in general. So I'm excited to be able to talk to you guys about them and hope that you learn something new. So some common dangers in and around your home when you have a pet bird. Teflon, that's something that can be fatal to a bird very quickly. That nonstick surface heats up, releases some toxins in the air. Windows and mirrors, of course, birds could run into them or fly into them. Other pets, indoors and out, wildlife, neighbors, cars, especially for chickens or game birds you have outside. Chemicals, poisons, electrical cords in your house, and then environment, so the air quality and fans and things like that you may have in your home. These are all things to take into consideration when you're bringing a bird into your home. And some cute little pictures down here, some healthy birds. So what does a healthy bird look and act like? They're alert, they have bright eyes, they're active, they're clean, they have kempt feathers. And of course, know your breed and your bird. You know, you might adopt a bird that has a feather condition or is missing feathers. They're mobile, they're walking around, they're eating, drinking normally, flying if you have a flighted bird, and they have normal droppings. We'll look at that here in just a second. See, here are some healthy droppings here. These look pretty good. We have an unhealthy one, which looks like diarrhea and some dehydration on the edge there. So it's always good to watch your birds' droppings. And if you have any concerns, to take a fecal sample and take them to your vet. Coping, that is trimming the beaks and nails of your birds. In the wild, this happens on their own, or they can do it in the wild. In captivity, it's a little bit different. You can see here we've got a budgie that has a severely overgrown beak. And then this is a picture of our Chuck actually, who is getting his beak and nails trimmed. It's good to learn how to do this. You don't want to quick a bird. You want to make sure that you know how to do it or have a professional to be able to do it. Now, what does a sick bird look or act like? These are all pretty sad looking friends here. They have almond eyes. So if you look at our finch in the top, you'll notice that his eyes are not round. And he's not just looking tired. He's got puffiness. He's sitting on the ground, it looks like, and he's got that almond shaped eye. And then almond eyes kind of just like, oh, I just don't feel well. They tend to be puffy, lethargic, stumbling or unsteady, jerky movements, or like they're uncoordinated. Panting or difficulty breathing, of course, is an emergency. Unkempt feathers, abnormal droppings, blood anywhere, or bumps and lumps. We see a chicken that's looking very sad in the bottom, an African gray. He's got his eyes shut, his head's hanging down. And then we have a budgie there on the side that's got a tumor under her wing, actually. So what should you do? We always recommend going to a vet. Always, always, always. Especially if it's an emergency. You know, we need to make sure that these guys are taken care of and done so in a professional manner. Keep them warm, quiet, calm, and separate from other pets. Now, when I say warm, I don't mean heated up, but if you're in your home and the bird is shivering or on the ground, it's okay to put in a warm, like a water bottle to help keep them warm so they're not using as much energy to be able to warm themselves if it is kind of chilly. minimal handling, and then try, like I said earlier, try to collect that fecal sample and take it with you. Even if you don't need it, at least you've got it. Some avian vets that I recommend, Dr. Hayes up in Arapahoe Animal Hospital in Boulder is our #1 vet, or the #1 vet that I go to. We've got some in Fort Collins, Black Forest, Canyon City, Centennial, Golden, and Aurora. And so these are all ones that I personally have had interactions with and really appreciate. So that was super, super fast, some quick information on how to check your bird. And for those of you that might be considering getting a bird, some things in and around your home to consider and think about. So thank you guys very much for joining KarmaSue and for listening to our presentations today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Devin, for keeping our pets healthy. Now it's time for a scavenger hunt. Desi, you're up.
Thanks, Britt. It's time for us to get up and get moving. Here are the rules of the scavenger hunt. You may participate as teams or individuals, depending on who's with you now in Zoom land out there. You'll have 10 seconds to find and show the items. We'll have a list of items in which we will give you a clue. You must find the item that matches the clue around your house and come back to the camera and show us. The first one to return with the correct item gets a point. At the end of the game, the person with the most points will win $2 off any auction item that you win. So let's get started. Is everybody ready? Please don't hurt yourselves, because I've hurt myself doing this, so try to be careful. Anthony knows. Okay, the first clue is something cuddly many of us had as children. Ready? Go. Oh, Michelle was first to arrive, with Anthony and Jess coming in a close second.
Some people are bringing their cameras. This is great.
I love this. I love on the show when they run with the camera. It's great. All right, I see the avocado, which is awesome. Okay, Michelle gets the first point.
Woohoo! Good job.
All right.
Go, Michelle.
Woo! I love the avocado. Okay, clue number 2. You use this as you're mixing up healthy meals for your companion animal. Ready? Go.
Go, 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 go.
Oh, Anthony's first to arrive.
And there's food in it.
And there's food in it. All right, that's awesome. Okay, yep. If you didn't know, the answer was a bowl. T, what do you have? A container?
What was closest?
Very close. Good
I
job.
love it. I love it. Okay. Clue number 3. After hiking with your dog on the Colorado trails, you'll need this to clean your body as well as your stinky pup. Ready? Go.
Hey, I see some people giving up on this one. What's happening?
They're like, we don't even know what you talk about.
You know you clean these dogs.
Kind of, Anthony and Jess. Kind of. That's not quite. Mark had the same idea. We're close. We're not there yet.
What does Richard have?
A brush.
A brush?
A brush.
Little colder? Little colder?
Who else has something?
Oh,
We got
Michelle's got
water.
water. Oh, and Mambo's dancing, trying to entice them.
Did no
All right.
one get this one?
No one got this one, so we'll have to go with Anthony first. Anthony's got a towel now. He had wipes. The answer was soap.
So
Anthony has 2 points now, 1.5.
Soap in my cabinet right here.
You should have known this. All right, Britt, do we have time for one more question?
I believe we have time for one more.
Okay, one more, guys. You likely have more of these featuring your pet than you do of people you love. Ready? Go.
Oh, yep. Richard's up.
Yep.
Yeah. Everyone's right, but Richard got it fast. Fast.
Oh my gosh.
I just love this part because it just amazes me how quickly people have pictures on hand.
It
I
took
love
Mark
it.
a little longer than I thought it might, but that's fine.
I know, I'm disappointed, Mark. What happened?
Good job, everyone.
Thank you guys. Okay, the winner is Anthony. You
Good job,
received $2 off an auction item that you will win. I'm going to hand it over to Tay now. Go ahead, Tay.
All right, well, that was a lot of fun, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the scavenger hunt. Since Anthony won $2 off of an auction item that you win, make sure you go and bid on something, get that win in. Our next live auction item was actually created by Desiree herself. She hand painted this crate. Let me show you just how amazing this is. We got this awesome crate. She also has some other items that are included with this inside that I will show you in just a moment. The value of this item is $150. Please remember that all of your donations received go towards supporting Colorado families enduring companion animal cancer. So now it's your time to help pets with cancer. Please enter your bid in the chat box and we will read them as they come in, and the winner will be the person with the highest bid. So let's start at $60. Let's go. So the other amazing items that were included with this is we also have a hand-painted sign to go along so that you can put this up in your home. Let me tell you, I have one personally myself. It's my favorite piece in my house.
$60 from Erica.
$60. Awesome. Let's keep it going.
70 from Anthony. Sorry.
We have a notebook with a sticker that is included. This is also really great for everything that we've gotten to learn today so that you can kind of keep a check on your pets. We have, every year, these are my favorite, these awesome Colorado socks. Mark, I'm looking at you. I'm telling you every time. Every time. All right, and now to the really fun part of this. We've got this Riesling. Look at how cute that is. I don't know if you can see that on camera. It's a cute little cat bottle. Absolutely in love with this. So if you guys don't bid, I'm coming after you on that one.
What is the bid at right now?
$70.
$80.
Okay. I put one out there on Facebook for 80.
That is a different one. So
Oh,
don't
that's
worry.
a different set. Okay.
We got two. So
This one has a little something extra.
I need the black cat though.
Erica has 75. Got it, Erica.
We also have, so that you can sip on your drink from the cute cat bottle, we got a nice pint glass along with the shot glass. I think those are so adorable, the little trees in the back. Such a cute little set. So just to re-go over one more time, we've got the notebook. We got some amazing socks. Socks are awesome. They're so comfy too. The great indoor home decor. And remember, this is also hand-painted by Desiree as well.
Anthony just bid 80. There's another bidding war.
Come on, keep it up, guys. This package is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Perfect for checking and chilling, right, Tay?
Yes, checking and chilling. Like I said, you know, that notebook is fantastic for being able to write down a lot of things on if you see any lumps and bumps in any of your pets, things that you've gotten to learn today, while you get to chill with your nice new home decor, your drink, your cute glass. It's a great Sunday thing.
85. Erica's in it to win it. We'll give it another 10 seconds. We're counting it down.
Come on, guys. It's so amazing.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Mambo's Mutt Mixology came in at the end for $90. Erica's gonna hurt you later. Congrats.
So, congratulations to the winner. So the crew will message you via the chat box below. They will get all of your information and we will email you after the program to arrange delivery of your item. Up next is going to be a testimonial by the KarmaSue's family, Gina and Gia. Then we'll take a break with some music provided by David Wool. After we hear from our community sponsors and partner, Treeline Veterinary Cancer Care. Treeline's mission is to provide the highest quality, most up-to-date, and compassionate cancer treatment for pets in the Boulder area. Dr. Oberthaler works with families and their primary vets to educate them on pets' cancers and assist them in making informed decisions regarding diagnosing, testing, and treatment options.
Gia came into my life 11 years ago. She was an 8-week-old snowball. I picked her up from the airport when the breeder sent it to me, and it was instant love at first sight. I have honestly done more with Gia than I have with people. So Gia's cancer story came very unexpected, as most of them do. I actually was leaving for a trip to Florida, and that night she wasn't acting herself. She went from being fine to not feeling fine, and I knew something was off about her. After 2 weeks of tests and then bringing her up to CSU veterinary and oncology team and CT scans and you name it, every test that you can do, they found a mass on her adrenal gland. And of course, I stopped breathing when I'm like, this can't be happening right now. Dr. Griffin and her oncology team at CSU said that she would be a good candidate for surgery, and they feel they can successfully remove the mass. The funding will now go to her actual procedure. I would definitely recommend KarmaSue's to all the pet parents out there for their lovey, furry animals, because they are not only supportive but caring, and they become your second family. Our pets are our peace and our kind of like safe haven. The foundation just really helps ease some of that stress and just, again, adds that extra layer of support and care that you're not alone going through this. And the fact, like I said, this soul right here in this little head is so strong in this spirit, and she just has a lot more to do on this planet.
Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed the second portion of our program and your break. Next up is Emily Davenport of Nature's Educators. She will help us understand what's normal in our pocket pets and when we may need to seek veterinary support. Emily, take it away.
Hey guys, my name is Emily Davenport, and I am here today to teach you guys about pocket pets. So whether you guys have one at home or are thinking of getting one, this will hopefully give you a basic idea of care. This is going to be a very high level presentation, so let's go ahead and get started. So first and foremost, it's really important to do your homework. A lot of these animals have all sorts of different needs that are important to consider. Some of these guys only live to be a couple years old, while some of them, like rabbits, can live up to 10 years old. Size is also important. Some of these guys are itty bitty and tiny, the size of a strawberry, and others can grow up to 20, 30 pounds, again, like some of our rabbits. Some of them are also predators, and some of them are also prey. So knowing the difference and what you want in your household is also important to consider. Caging requirements are also important. Many people think because these guys are small, they can just pop them in a cage on the top of a dresser and boom, you're done. But we'll talk more about the important issues surrounding caging and enclosures that way. These guys have all sorts of different eating habits that we're going to talk about, as well as sleeping habits as well. And then some of these guys are stinky. Ferrets and chinchillas and rabbits, for example, all have scent glands. So it's really important to consider this before you bring one of these guys into your home. Also, not all veterinarians are created equal. These guys also need highly specialized exotic veterinarians to treat their many illnesses and diseases that they get. These guys are just as deserving of care, even though they're small. Oftentimes these guys are free or are not that expensive to purchase, but even though that's the case, we still believe that they are just as deserving of high quality care. It's also important to know what's normal. So once you have a pet of your own, creating that really important baseline of health is important as your pet ages. That way you know what's normal and what's not. So knowing their vitals and body temperature. Using a rabbit, for example, they have a really high body temperature, higher than we do, of up to 101. They also have a really fast heart rate that can go up to 300 beats per minute. And then, of course, their respirations can go up to 65 breaths per minute as well. So knowing the specifics of your pocket pet will be helpful in gauging their health. They also, as we've talked about, have varying feeding habits. Some like to eat in the morning, some like to graze throughout the day. So knowing what's normal for your pet is really important. Same with activity levels. Some of our young critters are going to be highly active and spend a lot of time on that hamster wheel or running around the house, whereas our seniors might just be happy to eat and sleep throughout the day. So knowing what's normal that way is really important. Also consider the time of day they're most active. And then those basic husbandry rules, keep an eye on their tooth and claw length. Many of these pocket pets have teeth and claws that grow throughout their entire life and need maintenance. And also their bathroom habits are important to be aware of. What I like to tell people is think of head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Anytime you interact with your pet, look at the very tippy top of them, from their ears to their eyes, to their nose, to their mouth, all the way down their body. That way you know what's normal. That way when something comes up, you know what's not normal. Nutrition and diet prep is also very important, of course. This is the #1 health issue we see at the veterinary clinics and things like that. So understanding their natural history will help you take care of your pocket pet at home. Many of these guys are domesticated, but some are identical to their wild neighbors. So knowing if your pocket pet is an herbivore like a guinea pig, an omnivore, an insectivore like a sugar glider, or a carnivore like a ferret is really important. Make sure you're prepared to give them that proper diet. Luckily for us, there are commercial pellets available that have all the nutrition that our pets need inside them. Hard pellets are also great and really important to keep their teeth worn down as well. Also, some of our friends need high quality hay provided all the time. Timothy hay oftentimes tends to be best for our rabbit friends to help prevent kidney stones, for example. And then depending on the species you have at home, seed, fruit, veggies can all be given as treats, but everything in moderation, because too much of a good thing can cause some GI distress. Food should be available all the time for these guys, and don't forget that some of these species are going to need vitamins. A lot of these pocket pets are what's called hind gut fermenters. And so they have a very efficient digestive system, which means we've got to pay attention to their poop. So here's the scoop really quick. Again, you've got to know what's normal. Because they have that very efficient digestive system, they take part in a couple of strange activities. One is called coprophagia, which means they eat their poop. The other is cecotrophy, which is they eat another type of waste material. And they do this because it provides more protein and vitamins for them. And so if you see that, that's normal for a lot of these pocket pets. And don't forget, you can actually litter box train many of these species, but diarrhea is never, ever normal. So if you see that, that's oftentimes an emergency. And a lot of these guys, like rabbits, also can't vomit because of their digestive system. So if you ever see anything like that, that is a medical emergency. Husbandry and care. There's a lot to do with proper caging. I want you guys to think of their cage as their bedroom, not their house. They should not spend 24/7 in their cage. They need time out to have good quality welfare and just an enriched life. And as I've mentioned before, many of these guys are prey animals, so they're going to need bedding material and burrowing material to hide in and sleep in. Many need hides and hammocks to create those natural behaviors. Opportunities to climb are really important. Let them express those natural behaviors like climbing, digging, burrowing, taking dust baths. All of that is critically important to their health and their mental health as well. Some of these guys are social, so you may have to have them in pairs or groups. And then don't forget about those very important husbandry activities of nail trimming, teeth trimming, brushing. And don't forget, you can train a lot of these guys. These guys are very smart, smarter than we give them credit for. Also consider those sleeping habits. Many of these pocket pets are nocturnal, like our hamster friends. They're going to be most active at night. Oftentimes people think that these guys will be perfect pets for their children, and then are kind of a disappointment when they're sleeping throughout the day. And they can start to have behavior and health problems if their sleep is constantly disturbed. So a better pet, for example, might be a guinea pig, which is more active during the day. But some of our friends are also what's called crepuscular, which is a really weird word that means they are most active at dawn and dusk. Ferrets and rabbits, for example, are crepuscular. Safety in numbers. I can't stress enough that comfort, safety, and security is equally as important as health. Some like interaction and like to be held, and others are not going to want anything to do with us, and we just have to love them from afar. As I've mentioned, many of these guys are prey animals. There's only a few exceptions, like the ferret. The ferret is that predator in there, as well as the sugar glider to an extent. Some do best in pairs, where others are going to want to be in a group. Safety in numbers, safety in numbers. Some are going to need those hide boxes, hammocks, and burrowing material. And make sure you know their signs of distress. Many give body language cues and vocal tones to let you know that they're not comfortable. So there are a few common health problems that we can have with these guys. Many get common viruses, many get bacterial infections. Pododermatitis or bumblefoot is a very common one, Pasteurella another. And a lot of these guys, as they age, get cancer, just like we do. Ferrets are notorious for getting insulinomas, and rats get all sorts of lipomas and mammary cancers as well. A lot of the issues we see often are husbandry related. So improper nutrition, improper care, that can cause things like GI stasis in rabbits. And that just means that their stomach and their digestion stops and they can't process anything. Guinea pigs need a really high dose of vitamin C. And if they don't get that in their diet, they can get scurvy, believe it or not. We also see a lot of dental issues. So they get something called malocclusion, where their teeth get misaligned and they can actually start growing into the roof of their mouth if we're not careful. So those are all things that are important to pay attention to. These guys, of course, can get internal parasites and external parasites, just like our dogs and cats. And don't forget, for their health, you can also spay and neuter a lot of these guys, which can avoid a lot of hormone-related health problems. Some of these pocket pets also need vaccines. Ferrets, for example, need their rabies vaccine. And rabbits these days now need a special vaccine to prevent them from getting diseases that wild rabbits get. Also pay attention to temperature with you guys. A lot of these guys can overheat really quickly. I wanted to include this slide in here because we don't often think about our little guys being in pain, but this is what's called the Grimace Scale. So on the left-hand side, you can see there's no pain present in this little white rat. And then on the right side, you can see that he's squinting his eyes, he's flaring his whiskers, his ears are kind of back. And these are all signs of pain in these little tiny animals. So if we look at our guinea pig here on the left, we can obviously see those squinting eyes, flared nostrils, flared whiskers, which is a sign that they're in pain. So do some research and look at this online for your specific pocket pet. Lastly, I'll leave you with one of my favorite things, the 5 freedoms of welfare. This is something we should consider with any pet, but especially our pocket pets. They should have freedom from hunger and thirst by making sure we always have fresh food and fresh water available to provide that health and vigor. They should have freedom from discomfort by providing an appropriate environment, safe shelters, and comfortable sleeping areas. They should have freedom from pain, injury, and disease by preventing or diagnosing and then treating those illnesses and ailments. They should also have freedom to express natural behavior by providing sufficient space, proper facilities and caging, and then company of their own kind if needed. And then lastly, of course, freedom from fear and distress by ensuring conditions and treatments are met and avoiding mental suffering. So with that, I will leave you guys. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm more than happy to answer questions here or available through email. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Emily, for sharing that important information. Emily has offered to facilitate a full-length education workshop on pocket pets this November, so stay tuned to KarmaSue's announcements for this special workshop by signing up for our e-newsletter. We have a few minutes open for questions, and I believe Emily will be taking them via chat, but you're welcome to take yourself off mute and ask your question, or you could put it in the chat box and we'll relay it to her. Any questions for Emily? I know, Taylor, we already answered yours. It looks like AJ, you have a question.
Yeah, it's just chinchilla related, so not really general, but my friend had a chinchilla and they were getting darker as they got older. Is that common?
Great question.
Yep. Hey, guys, I'm going to try and take myself off mute. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can.
Yes. Yay. Okay, I'm still here. Wonderful. No, great question. You know, that's my guess is one of two things with your chinchilla. Oftentimes when we have pocket pets, we keep them indoors. We don't oftentimes give them a lot of outside time or the outside time that they really need. And so sometimes just like our hair in the winter can get darker because we're not in that direct sunlight all the time. So can our pocket pets like chinchillas as well. Another reason for that, however, could be that just as they mature, kind of like our coat and our dog's coats can kind of change over time. Theirs can kind of darken up as well. Okay. So it's more of like a maturity thing or an environmental thing. Great question.
Really good question. I didn't know that. So that was great information. Anyone else have a question for Emily?
Yeah, I'll ask a question.
Super. Erica, go ahead.
Yeah. So just curious, being here in Colorado, are there any legalities on which species you can and cannot have, like sugar gliders, hedgehogs, that sort of thing? I'm assuming everything's okay, but I know obviously not like squirrels and stuff. So do you know legalities, what we can and cannot have here?
Overall, yes. I guess it would depend on what you define as a pocket pet. So when I think of pocket pets, being from the veterinary field, that's one of my background, is, you know, we would see the more common guys, some of the ones we touched on in the presentation. So hedgehogs and sugar gliders, guinea pigs, ferrets, hamsters, gerbils, rats and mice and things like that. Those are all, of course, legal in Colorado to have. Anything that is a native wild animal, like a squirrel or a rabbit, like a cottontail rabbit, is not legal. That would be illegal to have. There are other kind of strange mammals as well that we are not allowed to have. Not that this would necessarily constitute as a pocket pet, but a capybara, for example, is still in the rodent family. And while you are allowed to have one as a pet in California, you are not allowed to have one as a pet here in Colorado.
Thanks. Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, totally.
Helpful information. Thank you so much, Emily, and thanks for the questions. Again, Emily will be hosting or facilitating education workshop coming up in November, so be sure to sign up for our e-newsletter. Emily, thank you for your time today. We appreciate you.
My pleasure. Take care.
Thanks. All right, so next up is a very special video all the way from Hiroshima, Japan. Meet Peter and his girl, Pichime.
Hello, my name is Peter Kawamoto, and I live in Hiroshima, Japan. The cutie that I want to introduce today is my pet sugar glider. Her name is Pichime, or Princess Peach, but we call her Pichan for short. Pichan is 7 months old, which is more or less full grown for a sugar glider, and she is female, so she's a little bit more soft-tempered than the males. I got her in December of 2020. I have really loved having her every second. I had to research a lot before getting her. The maintenance of these guys is really intensive, but it's completely worth it because I've also received a lot of not only love from her, but a lot of support as well. She's a really sweet little girl when you get to know her. Yeah, so that's Pichan, and right, Pichan, yeah, babe, and let's start. Say hello, hello, hello. Hello. All right, we're in a tent right now because this is tent time. So, it makes me a little bit nervous to let Pichan run around the house kind of anywhere she wants to because, she could get into trouble or bite a cord or something could happen to her. So just to make a more safe environment, we bought this mosquito netted tent. And basically this is our play area. She can go wherever she wants in here, and the net provides something that she can actually climb on as well, which sugar gliders love climbing. The best time to play with her is at night. That's maybe why I look a little bit tired. Sugar gliders are nocturnal. Pichan usually wakes up about, maybe 11 or 12 at night, and she'll stay awake until, depends on the day, but maybe morning to sometimes even afternoon the following day, depending on her. She actually really likes hanging out on the back of me, which is fine. She can do whatever she wants in here. So here's me and Pichan having breakfast together. I eat my breakfast and I give her different fruits. Recently she just has taken to licking the fruits first and then saving them for later, but yeah, it's kind of a bonding time that we can sit here and share together, and it's quite enjoyable.
My heart on that, let me tell you, I cannot stand how adorable little Peachy May is. So thank you to Peter and Peachy May for letting us inside their awesome world. We are now ready for our next auction item. This was beautifully produced by David Wool, whose music you've been enjoying throughout our program. So we do have a CD, and the CD is valued at $20. So please just remember that all donations received go towards supporting Coloradan families enduring companion animal cancer, and it's your time to help with companion animal cancer. So if you just put your bid in the chat box below, we will read them as they come in, and the winner will be the person with the highest bid. So let's start at $10. Let me tell you, I personally absolutely love this album. I think it is a great time to relax your animals, to do their little check and chill, to relax for yourself. This is just an absolutely beautiful album to just put on in the background and try and relax. whether it's animal bath time or your bath time or cleaning the house, however you want to relax. This is a beautiful album to do so. All right, it looks like we got one from Mambo at 15. Must have enjoyed that music.
Private, but his bid still counts. So 15 for AJ. Zoom's tricky.
Zoom is tricky. Zoom's tricky. So let's go ahead and keep that one going. I know Peachy May is just absolutely adorable.
It's really hard to like come after that, right? It's like, okay. Well.
I know. I'm like, beautiful album, beautiful little Peachy May. Yeah. I bet, you know, little Peachy May would just rock out in her little tent to this.
For sure. I think you could have this CD on. We'll give you a video of Peachy May. You can use your lavender essential oils and relax.
Just relax. All right. Do we have any more
15.
bids? 15. Yep. If we can go any more than 15.
We also have a couple in the live auction or silent auction too, if you miss out.
And you're gonna have to go against me on those ones, guys. So
it might be higher. 17. Good job, Des, because I think you're gonna get a deal in here and not outside. So good job.
It's true, because there's some people bidding on it.
Yes. Good job. All right, we'll give it another 5 seconds.
Beautiful album, beautiful music, some relaxing time.
All right, we're closing it. Des, 17. Congratulations.
Anthony, you can borrow one of my CD players and the CD if you'd like.
That's so thoughtful. Such a sharing group.
She's like, I guess I'll share.
That was great. Thank you so much. And congratulations, Des. Since I know you personally, I will be sure to grab your money from you individually on the other side of this program. Thank you, everyone. We're going to take a 3-minute break now with music provided by David Wall. During the break, please get your mixology session items ready. The first 15 registrants received a swag bag with all of the items they need to make the KarmaSue's cocktail. Everyone received a list of ingredients via email. They are also in the chat box, or will be soon. So please grab those or your alternative drink because Mambo's Mutt Mixology session is coming up next. Don't forget to grab your square piece of paper for companion animal origami coming up later as well. We'll see you in a few minutes.
All right, welcome back from the break, guys. We're going to be starting Mambo's mutt mixology.
They're currently asleep on the counter, but they're here.
Yeah, we have our assistants, we swear. So, but no, just make sure you have your ingredients. We have our lavender syrup and of course the essential drink of choice, vodka. You can substitute this with whatever you want. You don't even have to really add it if you don't want. This could just be a lavender lemonade for you. And then of course you got your Crystal Light packet and some water.
So to start off, you're gonna need a tall glass filled with ice, and then go ahead and just combine everything together. Put the cold water in the cup, and then put your Crystal Light packet in. Ooh, I can open it. There we go. Got it everywhere.
I have a stirring stick for us. Don't worry, you're good. Yeah, so just combine your Crystal Light in there. And we're gonna do 1 shot of vodka and 2 ounces of the lavender syrup. So I know it's a weird mix. We're doing a lot of lavender syrup, but like I said, it's gonna taste pretty good. So like I said, 1 shot of vodka. There you go. Oh.
Not too much. You're on the clock here.
Okay. We're gonna enjoy these after, I swear.
All right. And then 2 ounces of lavender syrup.
Yeah, 2 ounces or 2 shots comparatively. And it's not going to look very purple. Do you just want to keep it at that for us? Our drinks are pretty full, so we're going to keep it at 1 shot of lavender syrup. Yep. We didn't get tall enough glasses. Let me get my stirring stick real quick. Bought a fancy bar stirring stick just for this moment. Oh man, that's satisfying.
Look, it's a cup.
Mambo's doing great too. He's helping. All right, and they're not looking very purpley, but I swear there's lavender in there. And there you go. You guys have a lavender lemonade. Enjoy.
By enjoying after, you meant enjoying after you made them, right?
Yeah. There's no vodka in here.
As long as they're done talking, that's fine. They can drink now.
And definitely please take some time to enjoy your drinks. You know, we've got a couple of seconds, so.
Yes, they're so good.
Oh yeah, you have plenty of time. You're welcome to have your drink while we move on. So cheers everyone. And thank you, AJ, Jess, looks like Luna and Mambo for that great session. And we would like to have your stir stick because I forgot those. So
isn't it great?
That was terrific. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. We hope you enjoyed the 3rd portion of our program and your drink. Feel free to continue with that. Next up is Dr. Chelsea Lutke of Heritage Equine Clinic and VetCS. She will teach us how to check our equines regularly to quickly catch any issues that may arise.
Hi there, my name is Dr. Chelsea Lutke. I'm with the Heritage Equine Clinic out of Brighton, Colorado. And I have Chuck here today with me who's going to show us how to do an overall brief physical exam and make sure that your horse is healthy. This is something that can be, we'll go through the first part, used for before your veterinarian comes if there's a medical issue, or just while you're grooming day to day so that you pick up on little lumps and bumps that might come up. So I always like to have owners know how to do a basic TPR. So that's temperature, pulse, and respiratory rate. The 2 easiest places to check their temperature or pulse, are gonna be on his facial artery here. And you essentially, if you're looking at his cheek, it's about halfway down. There's a little rolly vein, kind of feels like a worm. And you sit here with about 2 fingers and wait to feel it. And it's a slow pulse. They should only, for a normal horse, be between 30 and 45 beats per minute. Some horses are not easy to either touch there and palpate. So then what I'll have owners do is take a digital pulse. So down on the leg, on the back half of the fetlock, you can take a digital pulse. And what you typically do is count for 15 seconds and then you multiply times 4. So if you get a total of 6 beats in 15 seconds, then your heart rate would be 24, somewhere around that range. Important to know if your horse is colicking and you count 60 or 70, that's a good thing to tell your vet. So that's your pulse. For the temperature, we take rectally on horses, so just have a quick read digital thermometer, and just be careful because some horses don't necessarily like it. And that's pretty self-explanatory. Just be sure that you're paying attention to their signs if they don't like it. For respiratory rate, I'll sit and I'll watch the kind of the abdomen expanding and contracting. And I do the same thing. I'll count for 15 seconds, multiply by 4. A normal respiratory rate in a horse is between 12 and 18 breaths per minute. If they're really stressed or coming off of hard work, they might be 20 to 30. If they're panting, kind of like a dog, that's a good reason to call your vet unless they're just cooling off on a hot day. So that's the basic TPR. The other things I make sure people do is every time you're picking out their feet, this horse has pads on, but that you're picking out the frogs, making sure there's no like metal, nails, big rocks that can wedge in there. And while you're doing that and picking out their feet is that you're palpating along their leg for any signs of swelling or heat. If you find those things, it might be a short-lived issue, but it's something to report to your vet. Same thing goes in the hind limbs, to run your hands all the way down the legs and check for swelling. Not so much that you're going to find it all the time, but on a day-to-day basis, you might see changes in your horse over time. And then we'll move into lumps and bumps. Luckily, horses are not a species that get a lot of cancers. They do get certain dermal lesions, namely sarcoids. This horse doesn't have any, but what you'd be checking for are little like hairless, flat hairless areas or bumpy hairless spots. And that can be anywhere on the horse's body. And so literally, I would say probably twice a year, check in your horse's ears. You can kind of check on their face. If they have a spot where they're losing hair and there's some kind of black pigment or bump, that might be a sarcoid and you would ask your vet. On a horse with an unpigmented eye, so paints, Appaloosas, any sort of horse that has white eyelids, essentially, especially in Colorado, we can get squamous cell carcinoma. You want to check the third eyelid. So that's this membrane that comes up here. And it's a little bit hard to do, but his looks completely normal. If they've got reddened areas or bumpiness to it, or the horse has a lot of tears all the time and a bumpy third eyelid, you want to have your vet look at that. Other things to check for are just under their belly, making sure that you don't feel any bumps. A big thing on gray horses is going to be melanomas. And so you want to come back and actually palpate their tail. Sometimes they can have it around actually the anus or perineal region, feeling into the tail, because a lot of horses actually have bumps within the tail. That is really strictly reserved for gray horses, but it is a good idea on those horses to make sure those lumps aren't getting bigger. The idea being is that then you can treat the horse before the lumps get too big. Some melanomas in horses will happen at their throat latch as well, and so it's a little bit difficult to palpate their throat latch and jaw region because they have a lot of lymph nodes, so that's always bumpy. But if you feel little hard nodules or bumps in there, I would say call your vet and just make sure that you're tracking them in size, making sure they're not changing in color, making sure the horse isn't painful. Sometimes during fly season, they'll get some irritation along their belly, things like that. You just want to know your horse on a normal basis so that if something comes up and changes, you can talk to your veterinarian. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Lidke, for that amazing session. Hopefully you all enjoyed that final check session of our program, and hopefully you learned a little something new and feel better equipped to take care of your equines. So now it's actually time for our last live auction presentation. So this is actually going to be a $50 Starbucks gift card. So just remember that all donations go towards supporting Coloradan families enduring companion animal cancers, and it's your time to help the pets with cancer. So please enter your bids in the chat box below and we'll read them as they come in, and the winner will be the person with the highest bid. So let's start at $20, because I know after that mixology drink and all your relaxing time, tomorrow you're going to want that double shot coffee. I already know it.
We have Erica at 25 so far. Oh, Richard's at 30.
Pulled out of the water really fast.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised.
Everyone was on the same
Oh,
We're at
man.
$50 already. Everyone is on the same page. This is great.
Just so you know, you have to buy us coffee too. Well,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Oh, we're at 55. Awesome.
I was gonna
Awesome. Let's
say,
keep
I'm
that
surprised
going.
Taylor's not bidding.
Let me tell you, I was so close myself to being like $100. Don't even care. For the animals.
It's for a good cause.
Animals.
This is for a good cause. That's the thing.
It's a great cause. You're supporting your coffee addiction and the pets with cancer. It's a great day. Okay.
It's for the kids. No.
It's for the kids.
That's right.
All right. All right. So it looks like we're at 55 on this one, guys.
All right, let's give it 10 seconds. You guys ready?
Take that coffee. Maybe even one of those little cake pops.
Oh yeah.
You get your pup a little puppuccino.
Which are free, so there's more money for you to spend.
More money for you.
On you. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We got a winner.
Awesome. I actually know who that is. So that's Rebecca. Congratulations. We will be sure to touch base with you and collect payment and then give you your items. So way to go, everyone. That one went a little fast. And yeah.
Yay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes. Thanks, Tay. Appreciate it. All right. So now it's time for our last chill session of our event, Companion Animal Origami with Erica. If you received a swag bag, please look in there for your origami paper. Not to worry if you don't have one, you can use any square piece of paper, just like a Post-it. So Erica, take it away.
All right, thanks guys. So today we're going to be making these little cat things. You know, it's a pen topper, or you could use it as a bookmark. They're cute little easy things to make.
So cute.
So I'm going to switch cameras here really quick. So give me 1 second. All right, here we go. So we have a square piece of paper again, like Britt said. Can you hear me? Yes. You can, okay. A Post-it note size is perfect, and that's basically what I'm using for these little ones. So first thing you want to do is take your paper and fold it in half and go ahead and crease it just like that. Next thing is fold it in half again, but this time don't crease it. Basically, we just need to mark the middle. So make the ends there touch, and then just kind of put a little mark there, press it down. So you have kind of a middle mark in your paper. So now we're going to take the ends and fold them into that little mark. These corners should fold right in. And this one you can crease. Just like this. So now this is what we have. Now we're going to make the ears. So for this step, you want to take this diagonal edge and meet this outside edge. So you're going to want to fold them up like this. Hopefully that makes sense. So it was like this. We're going to take this diagonal edge and meet the outside edge to fold it up. You do the same thing on this side. Diagonal edge to meet the outside edge. Just like that. So we have our little ears. So go ahead and flip it over now. Now we're going to make the face. So for this, you've got the two flaps here. So fold both of them up a little bit. This is a little imprecise here. It's kind of just eyeballing it. You basically want to make the shape of the face. So you want to have a little bit of an extra piece here and here. You don't want to fold it all the way up because then it's just a rectangle. So I would say maybe a ½ inch. Go ahead and fold it up, crease it. And you have the two flaps here. So take the bottom flap here and go ahead and tuck it in between. So now we only have one here to deal with. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it in the camera. Last step is to make the nose. So again, kind of an imprecise step. Just take the top corner here and just give it a little fold. So there's a little bit of a flat edge. And there we go. We have our face here. Last thing to do is to draw on it. So give him a couple of eyes. And then this here, it's not great. But this little flat piece here with the nose, you draw along it and then do a little triangle for his nose. a mouth, some whiskers. And then the last thing I like to do is to draw in the ears. So give it a little dimension here. I know this is very fast and you can certainly take time and make another one. But there we have our little pen topper bookmark. I'm going to switch back to my other camera.
That was awesome. Who did well?
Yeah, so
let's see
hopefully you were
everyone.
able to follow along with that. It's a pretty simple little thing. We would love to see pictures of what you guys did. You know, if you do take a picture of this one or later on, definitely tag us on Facebook, send it to Britt, put it in the chat. We would love to see what you came up with. It's just kind of a fun little thing. So thanks for joining me for this chill. We have another video and then we're going to be wrapping up our program.
Your golden smile, feel of 1,000 kisses. Oh, please stay a while. I'll reach up to hold your sunlit face. Feels like a handful of silk now. I'm in your warm embrace. Oh, I hope this feeling lasts till the oceans turn to glass and the world around us turns and fades to black. Together we'll hold back the sun in this moment forever young. It's the stream of time will run, baby. We'll hold back the sun. When the sun goes down and the world spins round, when I lay right next to you, I can't close my eyes even though I try. These perfect moments of you, I fall asleep embraced in the morning, awake to that perfect side of you. Together we'll hold back the sun in this moment forever young. Against the stream of time we'll run, baby. We'll hold back the sun in this moment forever young. Against the stream.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Melanie, say thank you. Good girl.
This moment forever.
Thank you again for joining us for our program today. We hope you found the check sessions helpful, the chill sessions and auctions fun, and enjoyed the company. Please be sure to visit our silent auction again. It'll be open until midnight tonight. In the days ahead, we'll connect with the winning bidders to collect payments and addresses. As a reminder, payments must be received prior to sending or delivering the items. Thanks for understanding. Finally, thank you for helping us raise much needed funds to support Coloradan families enduring companion animal cancer by making donations throughout our program. Links will remain in the chat box until we close the event in about 10 minutes. Please remember, KarmaSue is as much your organization as it is ours. It'll take all of us to continue providing programs to families in need. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to us at admin@karmasue.org. Thank you again for helping us celebrate, our 5th birthday today. Boogie on, everyone. We'll see you next time.